자, 여러분 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 토니 와일드입니다. 디스코 엘리시움 시리즈에 돌아오신 걸 환영합니다. 지난 시간에 킴 키츠라기 형사와 사건 조사하고 시체까지 끌어내리는 데 성공했죠. 이제 뭐 해야 되지? 그 다음으로 바로 이어가도록 합시다. 일단 내가 뭐 해야 되는지 퀘스트를 살펴봅시다. 되게 많은 게 있네. 이거 일단 이야기 걸어보죠.
Yes?
뭐 해야 돼? 아, 이거 한번 볼까요?
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
아, 이거 하다가 말았지. 오케이.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epui Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
이거 저희 시험 볼 때 저희 뇌 상태랑 비슷하네요. 1번, 2번 중에서 하나 해야 될 것 같은데 그냥 2번 할까? 3번은 좀 에바인 것 같고.
Fine. It's a 3-part form to be filled out on the scene by the detectives responsible. One takes note, the other dictates. The goal is to establish cause of death.
혹시 할 때 메스도
A
필요한가?
scalpel is not always required. I hope this is one of those cases. Latex gloves are, however.
오케이? 나중에 와서 다시 하자고.
I hope we do. It's getting really late for an autopsy.
아무래도 시체가 일주일 동안이나 되어 있으니까 이거 장갑 있으니까 바로 검시할 수 있지 않나? 사실 이거 하죠? 이거 안 할 이유가 없나
The
보네.
rotting man, the lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer.
이거 다
What you
됐으니까
do know is,
이거 해보죠.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
제한적인 자격으로만 참여하시죠.
I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes.
아, 오케이. 어디에 기록하면 되지? 여기 있는 내 서류철에. 아, 이거 없으면 선택지가 없나?
Yes, you see, the field autopsy form is the one on red copier paper.
붉은 용지가 현장 검시 조서입니다. 쓰레기통에서 찾은 장부가 도움이 되네요.
the dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
오케이.
That's you.
이거 이니셜 알고 있으니까.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
검시 번호.
KK57-0803.0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
나 검시 번호는 내 이름으로 해야 하지 않을까? 뭐 어차피 같이 하는 거니까 그대로 적죠.
Next, NA. Next,
출생일,
NA.
연령,
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
오케이. 이거는 제의 뇌를 따릅시다.
He nods.
오케이.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
하얀 것 같은.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
성
Fucky, fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex.
아니 1번과 3번을 택할 수 있다고?
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th, 51.
지금 51년 4월 1일인가? 아무튼 날짜 모르겠네.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
증거 조작의 흔적.
None. At least not after the initial examination. Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
아까 이거 지난번에 기억을 좀 하면은 지난번 내용 말한 걸 기억하면은 죽고 나서 옮긴 게 아니라 그 뭐지? 약간 강제로 끌고 간 흔적이라고 했었죠. 일단은 그렇게 생각하기 때문에 3번으로 갑시다.
A silent nod. The lieutenant places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest, as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorian burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
포스트모템.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
1번부터 순서대로 갈게요.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
그는 속옷의 제조사 라벨을 확인하기 위해 시신을 옆으로 돌려눕힌다.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
저런.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
오케이.
Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
더 진행하기 앞서 시체의 머리카락을 만집니다.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
1번과 2번 차이가 뭐지? 2번.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
오. 한 번 더 해보죠. 좋은 정보 나올 수도.
More hair sticks to the glove. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below, an alien landscape. For a fraction of a second you feel something, an irregularity, but then it's gone, too minute to register in your mind. What was what? Brilliantine. There's brilliantine in his hair.
포마드. 바가지 오면서 포마드를 추가한다.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
무슨
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
낮은 속도의 투석에 의한 것으로. 이거는 투석에 돌려지는 거 말하는 거지? 그러면은 1번
Ligature mark.
D. 사큰.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
벨트를 제거해야만.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
오케이, 이 절단기가 있어서 다행이야.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
일단 이 3번 해야 4번 확률이 늘어나겠죠. 1번 이거 무시하겠습니다 그냥.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there, steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
72%. 아까 28%였는데 지금 72%로 늘어났죠. 가보자.
You jam the
아이씨.
cutters right under the knot.
아디.
That seems like a smart idea. Yeah,
아디.
somewhere there.
이걸 실패?
Already, they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then,
제발 좀 잘려라 하면은 큰일 날 것 같은데. 아야.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that buggery. Corpse fucking time.
아오.
Told you my pig was hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
이거면은 경위가 하도록 두는 게 좋겠죠.
he sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision.
오케이.
Snap.
나이스.
The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
다행히 제대로 진행했다. 어찌어찌했다. 그는 절단기를 돌려준 뒤 무릎을 굽혀 시체에 다가간 뒤 무릎을 굽히고 다가가 목에 검붉은 자국을 따라 손가락을 움직인다. 오케이.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
Now, it's gonna happen, see?
이제 진짜 시작이야.
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
검시하는 거니까.
The dead man's penis is average sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
잘 녹화되고 있지. 목소리 잘 나오네. 잘 나오네.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
피부의 30%가량이 흉터라면 정말 험난한 삶을 살아왔다고 생각할 수 있겠군요.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars.
그야말로 박물관입니다.
Last item. Hands.
The hand feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode if squeezed hard enough.
우프.
You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
뭔가 기대했던 것이 있었나?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
오케이.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
오케이. 2번 가보죠.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
이거 내부 검사를 여기서 할 수 있나?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral
아니,
to this story.
중추신경계에 대한 교훈적인 얘기를 하나 써볼까? 이런 얘기가 존재하네? 한 번만 해볼게요.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
이 정도의 얘기면 의외로 그렇게까지 이상한 소리는 아닐 수도?
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
까비.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
목불뼈는
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
목불뼈 골절.
Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
오케이.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
더 깊숙이 들여다본다.
It's hard.
어이씨.
Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of
아니,
your throat.
나의
A
체력이
contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking.
휴. 플러스 1 체력. 체력이 총 3개. 사기는 하나밖에 없네요. 아야.
Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
나중에 약국 가서 체력 회복템 좀 삽시다.
Mute silence as always.
늘 그랬듯이 말이 없군.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
오케이.
Hepatobiliary. NA. Ah. Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
아니요.
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
내가 그것들을 잘 알고 있나?
Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one.
아니, 잘 몰라.
Neither am I.
그럼 그걸로 끝이야?
That's it.
불명으로 적는다. 진짜 그걸로 끝이.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
둘 다?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there.
뭐 일리가 있죠.
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
무슨 말이지? 창고는 만만. 혹시 괴상한 토막 지식이나 사소한 일반 상식도 받아줘요.
No.
그래도 오케이. 이런 거는 그냥 최대한 많이 대화하는 게 좋겠네요.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
불명이라고 적고 독성학 검사 요청을 추가한다.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
오케이.
Gastrointestinal.
경인은 안도의 한숨을 내쉰다. 이것이 2단계의 마지막 항목이기 때문이다. 오케이.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voilà.
받아 적으며 여기오를 생각한다. 받아 적으며 여기오도 같이 적는다. 여기오 생략을 합시다.
What's next on the list?
세 번째는 신체 손상 서술이죠.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
아, 이것도 물어봐야 되지.
Oh, so we inflicted them?
아, 그래. 내가 남긴 상처 말이야.
Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it. Better not to muddy the waters.
오케이. 그럼 핵심에 집중합시다.
Injuries.
어차피 같이 비즈니스 하는 관계이기 때문에 그냥 말대꾸 하면 할수록 별로 안 좋아질 것 같아요. 교상.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
소견 치명상. 아마 저는 치명상 같아요. 이거 제가 얘기했던 거죠. 새떼의 포식으로 시체. 그러니까 머리에 맞고 기절해서 놓은 거다.
Fatal injury by seagulls?
갈매기 떼에게 치명상을 입었다고. 아, 그 뜻이야. 이 남자는 갈매기 떼에게 살해당한 거야는 아니겠지?
Yes, it's...
오케이. 치명상 아니.
That's right. What's next? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
현장에 있었던 가해자가 사후에 입은 손상임을 자백하였어.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes.
이거는 확실히 사후의 발생이죠.
Right. Next.
마침 사큰.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
오케이.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
이거 목의 사큰으로 그런 게 목불비의 골절이면은 사실 저게 직접적인 사망 원인이라고 생각할 수도 있겠죠. 경추 손상 없지만 목불비 골절로. 그래서 저는 가로 하겠습니다.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start.
좋아, 본격적으로 시작해보자.
Let's wrap this up.
나이스.
I pronounce this field autopsy over.
현장 검신은 이걸로 종료하겠습니다.
Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
김 키치라기는 충분히 만족하고 있다.
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg. for processing.
경위는 시체를 다시 한번 보고 손에 들린 빨간 종이를 본 뒤 다시 시체를 바라본다.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse.
이거 어떻게 하지? 피해자의 시신을 시체 처리반으로 이송 어떻게 하지 이거?
I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
이거 이제 해보죠. 사실 아까 42 현장 검시 마쳤으니까 이거 늘어났거든요. 그래서 다시 시도할 수가 있는데 이거부터 하고 그 다음에 실패하면 뭐 1번 하든가. 오 나이스. 나이스. 성공.
Into the wild pale yonder. In the past, way out in the west.
네가 여기 없다는 건 알겠어.
I'm a joke. Look at me. There is nothing funny about jokes either. A killer, a motherfucker, and a killer. Go ahead, Cobbo. What do you mean?
오 이거 둘 중에 어떻게 무슨 의미지? 이게 무슨 일이야?
Ask me more questions. You fucking love questions.
잠시만요. 이거 물어보면
What do
Ah, okay.
you mean?
한 번 더 할 수 있군.
It's the power of your
오
imagination.
상상력의 힘이다.
Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking love questions. Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions?
그래 더 많은 질문을 원해.
Here you go, you loony. Fuck no. You're no Rooney.
머저리라는 이름의 파업을 선언하겠어. 이거 맞아.
No, you don't.
오.
Between you and me, your name is probably Harry.
내 이름에 대한 힌트가 HDP였나? 그 초성이 아니라 이니셜이 그 H가 아마 해리일 수도 있어요.
Because you have.
진짜로 끔찍한 거 잊어버렸기 때문에.
Fuck no. Between you and me, your name is probably Harry.
3번.
You can be anything you want, brother Coppo. Fuck. Between you and you might be onto something there.
자,
Fuck no. Between
아이고야.
you and me, good for you.
오케이. 어차피 반복이군요. 7번.
Do I remind you of someone?
오.
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You sure I got out of that one? Coppellini.
오케이.
Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dream.
오. 이거 1번 누르면 아까 그걸 가겠죠?
Shoot, loony. Come
Okay.
back later, Coppo.
그러면은
Amuse yourself with
이거
my
확률
frank
진짜
manners
낮은데
and my
한번 해보죠.
memento mori features.
지각 4.
If possible, also,
딱 대라.
see me in your dream.
사망 원인을 확정 지었기 때문에 -1이구나. 근데 머리 쪽에 작은 혹을 느낀 거 이거 수상하기 때문에 들어가 보죠.
Your arm reaches out and your eyes
Double
close,
six.
as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, dead flesh through the latex glove. It's
아니
right under the palm of your hand.
주사위의 신. 오 이게 뭘까? 애니메이션이네.
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls on his features. Everything is silent, all around. They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in.
오케이.
Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore in, searching for something in the cartilage.
The fuck is he doing?
The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop.
Scallop.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in.
체력 1터라도 지금 풀피기 때문에 괜찮아요.
A vision of
Sure.
black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
박탈륜이 뭐죠? 박탈륜.
Abrasion color.
이게 뭐지? 박탈륜. 탄환이 피부를 뚫고 들어갈 때 상처 구멍 가장자리에 피부가 함몰되면서 피부가 까진 상태. 오, 좋은 걸 찾았는데?
Kuno is silent. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in,
Yeah.
you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
오,
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
뇌관?
Yes, that's what this part is called. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex.
총 맞았나 보네.
This man will never sleep again. Never wake. Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
오,
This is what he used to regulate his emotions with.
오케이.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
상처 입구는 손에 남은 부분이 들어가게 그러니까 구겨놓는다.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Ice cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your finger.
오케이. 일단 뭐 말하고 빼죠.
Can you get to it?
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium. This is the irregularity you felt before,
아하.
the one that was too tiny to register consciously.
아까 혹이라고 느꼈던 그게 밝혀졌죠.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
셋이.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
97%니까 설마 3% 확률로 실패하겠어? 나이스. 이거 실패했으면 망한 게임.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration,
말할 시간 없죠.
all you need to do is just... The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth.
남덩이.
The garden glove is covered in blood right up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower. A blossom made of lead.
우후.
Fucking beautiful.
A bullet.
총알. 고생했다.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
이거 뭐 내가 가지면 통제 안 될 것 같은데. 나 어차피 할 거 많아서. 그럼 경희한테 선물로 주죠.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later.
아니 어차피 그거였네. 어차피 선택은 없었다.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth.
추가해야지.
High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
아주 좋아.
Opinion, fatal injury.
이게 치명상이지? 1, 2번 어차피 같은 말. 전에는 사큰이 치명상이라고 생각하지 않았던가. 뭐 이러지 말죠. 어차피 똑같은 말이긴 하니까. 제 생각도 그래.
And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3. Ligament mark. New opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
사큰은 사후에 발생. 오케이.
he's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
조작이라고?
Treatment, officer, is an attempt to manipulate the body after death, to hide the real cause with a false cause. In this case, this injury here. Yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
지기징지기 죽었어라니. 정말 그렇게 생각해?
I did not just come up with this. I've had my doubts since you showed me the tracks, officer. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him? There is no satisfactory explanation. There have been other signs too.
나이스.
Small details. Everything is too neatly designed for us to assign probable cause here, as we did, full-heartedly. Well, no more.
그러니까 이 가해자들이 그 범인들이 이제 일부러 다른 걸로 그 사인을 다른 걸로 그 꾸미기 위해서 이런 짓을 저질렀다고 말하고 있는 거죠.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
이게 뭐 이것도 틀린 말은 아니니까. 그러니까 이걸 일단 의심은 해보긴 해야 돼.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it doesn't explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me.
뭐 이런 사건에서는 엄청 여러 가지 가능성을 고려해야 된다고 생각을 하지만 일단은 뭐 틀린 이것도 뭐 이해하는 편입니다.
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
총알 정보를 찾아봐야죠.
To hide something. The real killer, the real motivation, what really happened here. Oh, you really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling and Rise should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
하루에 한 번은 씻어야지.
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
오케이. 다음은 뭐지?
We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. The body bag should contain the odor for the duration of the transport.
오케이.
I would drive him to processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. No problem.
3시라 늦었다.
One more thing. This was really good work, detective.
아, 사기가 풀 사기에서 늘어나면은 사기 충전 횟수가 늘어나네요. 좋습니다. 일단 시체 이거를 가져다 뒀어.
All right.
오케이.
I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands. I'll take the legs.
오케이, 굿. 그래도 여기에 관련된 거는 거의 다 했네. 자동 저장. 아, 좋습니다. 자, 일단 이거 하면서 좀 보죠. 스킬 포인트가 몇 개 늘릴 수 있냐? 3개 늘릴 수 있지 지금. 이거는 필요한 것들 좀 늘릴게요. 아니면 지성 이걸 어떻게 언제 늘리는 게 낫지? 이거 필요한 백색 굴림 있을 때 늘리면 좋을 것 같은데. 약간 어려움. 아니면 엄청 중요한 적색이라든가. 문신을 찍은 즉석 사진. 아, 이거 상호작용 할 수 있구나. 그리고 완료된 거 여러 개 있고, 죽음의 냄새 씻어내기. 이것도 해야 되죠. 아, 키니마로 왔으니까 전조등도 한번 켜볼까? 키니마의 전조등 앞에 장부의 할로겐 워터마크를 대고 보자. 오케이.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
이거 당장 해봐.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
오케이.
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rouse per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Canadian comes to life with a whiny growl.
아니,
Like a leopard waking from its sleep, yawning and roaring at the same time.
엔진 소리가 너무 커서 나레이션 제대로 못 들었음.
The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
오케이, 이제 키니마 전조등 앞에 서기.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
오케이. 그리고 저기 앞에 섭시다.
As you hold your
Okay.
ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river.
There she is. Revachol West.
경위의 목소리에는 자부심이 담겨있다.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights. A rat brazenly darts past you and disappears amongst the stopped lorries. In the distance, a child somewhere shrieks. A woman reprimands her in a voice no quieter than the child's cry.
Ah, Martinez. Let me see. Right here.
예, 좋아 보이네.
No, it does not.
전혀 그렇지 않습니다.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots.
오케이.
Not bad for what? You don't even know what it means yet.
젠장, 손상된 장부에게 혼났어.
The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some.
오케이.
You count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over you. Though you can't say why, precisely.
오케이, 마지막 줄은?
The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
오케이.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. officers often do. Let's take a look.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
아니 기억이 하나도 안 나는데 내가 18년 전에 뭐 했지? 이 땅을 아니 뭐라고? 남들처럼 재미없게 회사나 다니며 살지 않았을까? 일단 1번.
That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth?
4번이죠.
No shame in
가장
working a
자연스러운
regular
데다.
job, detective. Sometimes after a long day of doing this, I even envy it. Let's move on, shall we? This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see. Wow, more than 200.
아, 아까 216개였죠, 세보니까. 그러면은 216건의 사건을 종결한 건데 그러면은 좀 엄청 많은 거 아니? 높은 건가?
It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades.
Let's go!
Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
방금 킴의 진정한 신뢰 얻기라는 도전과정을 달성했습니다. 대박. 좋아, 이제 킴의 신뢰를 얻었음. 그러니까 내가 슈퍼스타 경찰이었다고. 아, 2번 하죠.
Right. Those are your confirmed kills.
아,
You've got precisely 3 perforations there.
오케이.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident.
오케이.
But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
이런 거 한 번은 물어볼 수 있지 않을까?
Yes.
오.
Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective, or self-destructive than others.
경위는 당신을 의미심장하게 쳐다본다.
Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies.
오,
Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now.
나도 취미 하나 만들까?
Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
아니, 이 장갑으로 정원일 하는 거는 쉽지 않을 것 같은데. 고마워.
The lieutenant nods.
오케이?
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
오, 한번 봅시다. 아, 여기 있군. 좋습니다. 이름 미상, 직위 알 수 없음. 슈퍼스타 경찰 1, 재미없는 경찰 1. 엥? 공산주의자, 파시스트, 초자유주의, 도덕주의자 이런 것도 있네. 오케이. 이거 업데이트 됐다는데. 아, 완료로 업데이트 된 건가? 워터마크 해석을. 오케이, 굿. 이제 뭐 하지? 그 약국 이제 약국 가서 돈 좀 받죠? 아니면은 생각 이거 할 수 있는 저공 에이스 플러스 2 공감 대상. 이렇게. 잠깐만, 뭐 하는 게 낫지? 일 관련해서 남아 있는 게 있나? 킴의 단파장 무전기로 1년 번호 조회하기. 아, 이것도 합시다.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
오케이, 무전기 맞지? 킴의 단파장 무전기로 1년 번호 조회하기 이거네.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
이거죠. 이게 새로 들어왔죠?
Sir, officer. What's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it. Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the moral intern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government.
이거 지금 물어보면 안 되겠지?
No, and I doubt they'll get back to me before tomorrow morning. Anything else?
오케이.
57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
오케이. 피해자의 이거 하루 뒤에 앨리스에게 전혀 이렇게 갑옷에 대해 알아보기. 시간 지나는 거면은 이렇게 시간이 표시가 되어 있네요. 피해자의 문신. 문신에 무슨 의미가 있는지 탐문하기? 이거는 이거 보면 될 것 같은데? 상호작용. 이거 한번 해보죠.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. It still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night sky, but something's not right.
오.
Gone. For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance.
문신 사진에게 혼났음.
Someone who knows about history could tell you.
역사에 대해 잘 아는 사람이 말해줄 수 있을 겁니다. 이것도 한번 상호작용 해보죠.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found.
What?
아니, 선택지가 이거밖에 없어.
Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me.
나쁘지 않은데? 좋은 생각이야.
If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
오케이.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge. The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
탄환의 피갑을 살펴본다.
You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
난 이 총알을 알고 있었어.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
오케이.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
그러니까 이런 총 자체가 굉장히 드물기 때문에 범위가 좁혀진다 이런 얘기가 되겠죠.
Even the RCM uses ordinary and jacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
28% 해보죠.
You can't
Gabby.
remember what happened last week. What makes you think you're going to remember arcane firearm models?
젠장 혼났어 또. 그러면은 지금 눈, 손, 협응력 이거를 올려야 다시 할 수 있죠? 그래, 그렇기 때문에 어딨냐? 눈, 손, 협응력 이거를 올립시다. 딱 대라. 다시 들어가자. 어딨지? 여기 있다.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp.
이거 하나 올리니까 14% 올라가네.
You can't remember
아이
what
미친.
happened last.
아니
What makes you think you're going to remember arcane firearm?
아오. 딱대. 한 번 더 합니다. 이제 58%니까 할 수 있겠지? 아, 돌려놓고 다시 이렇게 해야 되나?
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp.
가자.
A rifle.
아니, W로
Revolutionary
성공했다고 이걸?
period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46mm from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique.
이 탄환은 오케이. 구식 4.46mm 탄. 제조사는?
The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theatre of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely.
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez or anywhere in Ravachol, really.
마르티네즈의 후장식 총기가 그렇게 많이 돌아다니지는 않을 겁니다. 오케이, 이거는 생각했던 거 이유가 있었으니까 뭐. 아, 일단 물어보죠. 일단 물어보는 거는 나쁘지 않죠.
Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
무슨 장점? 총 맞을 때 장점? 뭐 1번 하죠.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier.
Okay.
But back to the investigation.
우리가 찾는 사람은 골동품 수식가라기보다는 일단 요게 낫지 않을까? 아니면 2번? 3번?
Let's find out. Next step, finding the gun itself.
이게 틀렸을 수도 있겠는데 일단은
Okay, an antique. That makes... I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and banned the use of breech loaders in peacetime. Some new RCM recruit...
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to...
Imagine if... But back to the invest... Doesn't seem that likely. But we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself.
어차피 이거 다시 돌아가면은 찾는 것 같긴 한데 결국에 잼록 갱단을 찾아봐야 되나 이제? 지도 이게 뭐지? 쓰레기 수거함 물리적 수단 전설적? 아 이거는 애초에 일단 도시 지도를 모두 만들려고 해야 되는데. 그러면은 뭐 돌아다니면서 이거 좀 하죠. 장비하여 일단 저녁쯤에 그 장부 보는 거는 저녁쯤에 하겠습니다. 그럼 이제 사람들이랑 좀 많이 대화를 나눠야겠네. 안녕하세요.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
내가 곧 법이란다. 아닙니다.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book? Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock.
오케이.
Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance and biographies of famous people. Oh no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm.
오케이.
I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running.
그나저나 학교가 뭐지? 이런 게 있네요.
Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
저주?
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Well, they run out of money and have to stop doing business. They shouldn't be, but they seem real. Anyhow, they say that these grounds are doomed for businesses. Of course, sir.
이거 다 물어보죠?
Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
아니 말만 나눴을 뿐인데 벌써 1시간 지나 있네? 이럴 수가. 범죄물은 살인이나 강도에 대한 소설이에요. 오케이.
And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch him. You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
딕 멀렌이다. 지난번에 제 별명이 딕 멀렌이라는 걸 또 알았죠. 예. 잠시만요. 오케이. 어찌됐건
Head? Yes.
맞아.
No, your mind. Not head, child. Heads.
헤즈. 유연성이야.
Isn't that very dangerous? Unlike you, sir.
오.
He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you.
경험치 획득했다. 나이스.
Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books.
오, 이거 대화해가지고 잘 선택하면은 경험치 올릴 수 있군. 이거 좀 진작에 깨달았어야 했던 것 같은데 아무튼 뭐 72%니까 해보죠.
The girl keeps
Nice.
her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
What do you mean, sir?
오케이.
She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh.
Ugh.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded?
맞아.
Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
물어뜯은 손톱. 그 말인즉슨 너는 네 신체 기관을 재활용하고 있다는 거지. 이럴 수가. 1번이 가장 그거 아닐까요?
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't. It was
2번으로.
okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
그럴까?
You're quite sober.
오.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching.
당황스럽죠.
Takes
아무래도
effort.
쉽지 않지.
Because you usually aren't. I sure hope you are, sir.
드드.
There she stands,
어떻게 알았지?
swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar, somehow.
오.
There's something you're missing.
이거 해볼까? 17. 어차피 스킬 포인트 있으니까 해보죠.
You have absolutely
Gabi.
no idea. Familiar? How? You must have forgotten something you heard again.
이거 한번. 잠깐만. 내가 뭘 잊어버렸지? 그 제한?
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
제한의 스킬 포인트 투자하면 되죠. 제한 어딨니? 제한에 이거밖에 없네. 오케이. 아, 근데 얘 여기는 워낙 낮아가지고 아네트. 오케이. 지도 어디선가 얻어야 되는데 어디서 얻지? 여기 안에서 얻을 수
Hi,
있었던 것
Ace
같은데.
Detective. Are you here for more books?
아 들어가자.
You have absolutely no idea.
까비.
Familiar? How? You must have forgotten something you heard again.
한 번 더 들려. 이거 더 이상 늘릴 수가 없네. 오케이. 그럼 이거부터 하고
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
4번이랑 5번 물어보고 들어가 봅시다.
It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
이거는 그냥 1번 하죠.
It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something.
그렇군.
Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that. Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting. That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life.
가끔은 진짜 현실에 대한 이야기를 쓸 필요가 있어. 그 뭐 실제로도 현실적으로 다가가는 작가들도 있으니까요.
Not in romance books, sir.
아쉽.
These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end.
까비.
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum.
그래야겠네.
I'm sure she can help out. Anything else you're curious about? Maybe some about other books?
아 이게 감정이 너무 능력치가 낮으니까 나중에 저거 올리고 다시 와야겠네. 자,
Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them.
Okay.
I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
그들의 명성의 비법.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous.
오, 위인전은 유명한 사람들을 더 유명하게 만들죠. 뭐 틀린 말은 아니지. 영성이라 군침이 싹 도는군. 어쩌면 누군가가 나는 슈퍼스타 경찰이다. 나에겐 더 중요한 일이 있어. 내가 이 주인공이 명성을 좋아할지는 잘 모르겠네요. 아, 어떻게 생각하지? 어떻게 생각하는 게 낫지? 나에게는 더 중요한 일이 있어.
Okay, sir.
네. 할 말은 다 한 것 같으니까 일단은 저기 안쪽으로 들어갑시다. 너 할 말 있니?
Yes?
아무것도 아니야. 들어갑시다. 서점이니까 지도 같은 것도 여기서 얻을 수 있을 것 같아요. 선물용 책과 녹은 사탕. 이건 뭐니?
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Hyundal somewhere.
오케이.
Rows and rows of Hyundala men blur your vision. You make out some titles. Man from Hyundal and the Mammoth Riders. Man from Hyundal, Return to Hyundal. And the solipsistic Man from Hyundal and the Hyundal Man.
헬름달에서 온 사나이와 헬름달 사나이는 대체 어떤 멍청이가 지은 책 제목이지? 거의 해리포터 시리즈도 이렇게 안 짓지 않나? 그만!
The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Hyundal novels.
내 흥미를 끈 책이다? 이거 굳이 할 이유가 있나? 일단 한번 해보죠.
Nothing of interest. Only silence and the cosmic background pain radiation.
통증 한계치에 오케이 잠깐만. 스킬 포인트 하나. 통증 한계치가 어딨지? 여기 있다. 이거 한번 보죠. 수락. 다시 들어가자.
The display rack is brimming with worn paper. Nothing of interest. Only silence and the cosmic background pain radiation.
진짜 억까다 억까. 억까 말이 안 돼야 돼. 오래된 스포츠 잡지들이 구석 어두운 곳에 비춰져 처박혀 있다. 저것도 보죠. 아르다의 전통 레시피를 모아놓은 책이다. 사람이랑은 제일 마지막에 대화할게요.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
위럴 관련 상품.
An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium, 2nd edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Katawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure game book titled Tales of Wirral, Cavern of Velkrag. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastic adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real.
오케이.
That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense.
겁나 비싼데? 나 지금 4레알밖에 없는데 이건 뭐 안되겠네. 위쪽으로 가죠. 여기에도 뭐가 있나? 일단 저기부터 보러 가죠. 오케이.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature. Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. These three things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
유료 의료 오케이. 흥미롭네.
Various paranatural books still litter the shelf.
오케이. 이거 제가 예전에 했을 때 기억하기로 여기
Several
보면은
maps have
지도가
been
붙어있을 건데.
attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner.
오케이.
The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
사장님, 지도
I'm sorry,
사기.
officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore.
헐,
And besides, you could scarcely afford them.
저런.
They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
제 재산을 과소평가하시는 것 같은데 뭐 알겠습니다. 뭐 일단 왜 이렇게 싸?
That old thing? It's an out-of-date map map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be.
오케이.
From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago, they also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
야, 동전망원경 봤었죠 지난번에.
The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it?
They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
그러지 말고 훔친다. 아씨. 시도.
Slowly, you move your hand toward the map attached to the board. Before you even reach the map,
젠장.
you're interrupted.
사겠습니다.
Perhaps not. It's against RCM policy to defraud small business owners.
예, 사겠습니다.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
오케이. 그러면은 여기에 지도를 보면은 그렇지. 여기에 나와 있지. 아, 이쪽은 아예 안 가봤었네. 마르테니즈 부두가 지금 제가 아니지. 나 여기 레바숄 이거 레바숄 지도 사야 되는데. 지금 내가 어디지? 여기인가? 교회랑 어베어드만 이거는 가지도 어디지도 모르겠네.
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of famous people. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem important or relevant. It's all just vapid egoism.
오케이.
Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob Irv and Alfie Delatraz, by one Cecilia Averbrook.
초고속 사랑 제이콥 이레와 알피 델레트라즈의 비극적인 실화.
High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover.
오케이.
Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other.
한쪽 눈에 모르핀, 다른 눈에는 코카인. 미쳤다. 진짜 미쳤는데.
Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a run-down drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days.
오케이.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse though, but not too long.
읽는 건 공짜가 아니랍니다.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce.
오케이. 마지막으로 저기 보고 사장님과 대화하러 갑시다.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over.
여기가 추리게임이 아니라 추리소설 시리즈인가 보네요.
A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring do. Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers.
오케이.
These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
아니요.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective Dick Mullen.
이거는 그냥 온 김에 본 거기 때문에 그러니까 이거 작동하는 총 찾아야 되잖아. 총 어디서 샀지? 약간 무기고 이런 데 가면 될 것 같긴 한데 이거 갈 수 있나? 이게 뭐 있나?
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
오케이. 죄송. 이 사람에게
Welcome
말하고
to crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. My name is Plaisance. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
일본 구걸이야? 제게 돈을 좀 주실 수 있을까요? 어떤 깡인지 이건 무슨 깡이야 대체?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
오케이.
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
네,
Wonderful. Did you talk to her?
네.
Great. On a scale of 1 to 10,
Nice.
how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
아니, 저는 사람에게 점수를 매기지 않습니다.
Come now. It's not personal.
아니,
It's about proper sales practices and market research. I expect an answer.
이거 10점 하고 책 안 사면 안 될 것 같은데. 10점 하고 책 안 사보기.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette.
전 자유시장을 해체하고 아동 착취를 근절하러 왔습니다.
As a young girl should be, with the proper attitude, she'll have a bright financial future.
이거 이번 해야긴 해야겠죠. 이거 추리 성공해서 나온 선택지 같으니까.
God, I've told her not to do that. It's such a disgusting habit. She'll get over it. Anxiety is a part of life. She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains. Life isn't easy. Life doesn't give breaks.
잠시 오지랖 한 번만 들어봤습니다.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
She stands stiff and severe, silently fuming. 10 or so seconds pass without change. She's looking for one, but there simply aren't any good arguments for being an asshole.
김키트라기가 더 덧붙였기 때문에.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologize. She must be freezing out there. There. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind. All this stress.
남편분이 아네트의 아버지인가요? 일단 하나는.
Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had... No, we couldn't have afforded more children, really. Not in this economy.
오케이.
A glimmer of sadness blinks through the well-crafted exterior.
아, 그러니까 약간 일해야 돼서 육아가 힘들다 이런 얘기를 하는 것 같은데. 일단
We're
물어보기.
quite busy people, you
물어보는
know, my
거니까.
husband and I. Quite busy. Children are a lot of work. You don't look like a father, so I don't expect you to understand. I'm sorry. I'm sure you do understand. Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here. No matter. Soon we'll both be off for Grand Couronne.
그랑크롱?
It's a proper place to live. One of the most peaceful neighbourhoods east of Jamrock. You may know it for its massive housing projects. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of the crowds. Better times ahead for sure.
한국으로 따지면 세종 같은 곳인데 그러면.
He made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you might call a silent partner.
조용한 파트너.
Super silent, almost inaudibly so.
오케이.
She's been too busy helping me here, so she studied at home this trimester. This is a temporary solution, of course. I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education. She will be back in school the moment the store takes off.
And hell freezes over? Never mind. It's not a good topic to get into.
이거 실패하면 입 밖으로 꺼내나?
The woman looks aloof. Her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
책, 이렇게까지 얘기했는데 책은 사야 되지 않을까?
Goodness, you were already doing good, browsing the shelves. Why'd you stop? Don't you feel compelled? Go, go, get back there. The books await you.
책 사기? 아니야.
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
오케이. 떠난다.
Aces
Ah.
low.
성공했구나 이거. 저공의 에이스.
For the rest of the world, the aces low is just some cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket, just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades. And those cargo pants look like they could fit tools for hot fixing your burning aerostatic. You should ask him about this.
오케이. 오케이. 플러스 2 공감 대상, 플러스 1 경찰 정신. 좋습니다. 일단 나가자. 아이가 들어왔군. 오케이. 모터리 분노. 자, 모터리 마르티네즈 부두방면. 이쪽으로 가면 길이 있던가? 오케이. 살펴볼 곳은 많긴 해.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
이게 3% 확률로 가능하다고?
You have no clue.
젠장.
It's just a wall.
아쉽다.
So many walls all over Martinez. Weather worn, cracked, their paint peeling.
오케이. 오케이. 여기에 백색 판정이 다 나와 있군요. 여기는 마그네슘. 미 뭐더라? 아이템. 결정 가바라지 펜. 마그네슘이
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner.
지도랑 상호작용 할 수 있었네.
Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the map tab.
오케이. 이거는 알아냈으니까. 이거는 여기에 있는 거 알아냈죠. 이런 데에 길이 있었네. 이건 지금 볼 수가 없군. 일단 퀘스트 관련해서 뭐 해야 되는데 총 같은 거 어디서 잠깐만 일지 총 같은 거 어디서 팔지? 빠른 이왕 하기엔 빠른 저장. 아니 볼 곳이 너무 많은데? 이런 데 말고 이런 거는 나중에 필요하면 와야겠다. 지금 저 처음에 들어갔던 그 식당으로 가서 그 사람들 좀 보고 싶은데. 아. 오케이. 생각보다 넓구만. 뭐 예상은 했었어야겠지만 아무튼 여기는 뭐 있었지?
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes, and an RCM sticker.
우체통을 쓰다듬는다. 아니 저 비닐봉지 든 채로 쓰다듬다.
The box seems happy.
굿.
Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder. Then you swallow.
오케이. 여기 들어가서 일이 있나 좀 봅시다. 이 사람 누구지? 처음 보는 사람이네? 오케이. 이 사람 자고 있으니까 말을 못 걸 거 없고. 지능 묻은 장화를 신고 있는 한 사내가 테이블 위에 엎드려 자고 있다. 그가 입고 있는 셔츠 뒷면에는 나무가 그려진 로고와 함께 와일드 파인즈라는 글자가 쓰여 있다.
A colourful piece of plastic is dangling from his carabiner. Makes your fingers itch.
에이, 도둑질은.
On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine.
관찰합시다.
It's a dock worker's ID, doubling as a shift card and a job permit. A young, able-bodied man stares back at you from the photo. Santiago S. John. The man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does.
사기 충전횟수도 4개.
You've just picked up some magnesium. This item is stored in the bottom left corner of the screen above your character portrait. Use magnesium to heal your morale if you have morale damage.
이건 안 할게요. 옵스. 뭐지?
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already?
금주해야 되지 않나? 꽤 됐긴 했지만.
Attaboy. It's coming back to him. You had your mesolimbic reward pathway worried there, not thinking about drinking all that time. It was like you weren't yourself.
지금까지를 봐서 2번이 그나마
Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking. Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade to yourself, boy. Or better yet, lick that stain.
아니 카운터에 얼룩을 핥으라고? 싫어.
What happened, man? You used to be cool. Go get your boring normal person drink then.
안 됨. 일 끝나고
Get
하시죠.
your drink on.
아니
and you'll
미친
act
이런 임무가
together.
있고. 통제 불능. 혹시 그 사람들에 대한 소식 없나? 한번 물어보러 가봅시다.
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for.
오케이.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my stuff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene. I think fugue states are more your forte, officer.
식당 매니저한테 혼났어.
The trash collection service, CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
오케이.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threats that solves itself down the road. Thank you anyway.
Yes. Another thing, great. I love those. Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God.
이거
Just
봤었지.
the nasty. They come here in the evening.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner.
아
or
나중에
later.
그냥 아예 저녁에 올까?
Glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
오케이.
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. Or laying low after the, lynching.
왜지?
They probably fucking killed that guy or something, and that's why.
오.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
Yes. Yes, have you got it? A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks,
젠장
and broken
130
window,
레알이라고.
130 real.
불가능.
Like what? I was really enjoying talking about the money you owe me.
젠장 가야겠어. 피해자의 옷에 관해 뭔 가능한지 쿠노에게 물어보기. 이건 할 수 있잖아. 저거 가서 물어보기. 아니면은 여기로 들어가 보기? 여기 들어가도 됨? 끝. 안녕하세요. 이 주방이가?
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Goransi and Kubek. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Goransi Kubek. Please. It's not funny.
오케이. 그러면서 3번 하죠.
The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove.
오케이. 이거 한번 보죠. 나이스. 돈이네.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. The door does not budge. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side. Old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50 years since this was painted, maybe. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one. The old building next to this, half ruined. Whatever is behind it must be older.
여기 문 열렸으면 좋겠는데 한번 뭐라도 시도해 볼까요?
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
아니 잠깐만. 이거 줄 간격 상태가?
Eccentric. But okay, I suppose we could look into it. As a side investigation.
뭐 자간 깼다는 사건이죠. 이 정도로.
Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
이거 가르트에게 물어보기 귀찮은데. 젠장 또 가르트야. 저거 당장 주워. 나이스. 돈 아주 좋다. 쟤한테 그럼 다시 물어보러 가보죠.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door.
오케이.
No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably.
프리트 창고.
Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage.
오케이.
So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that.
오케이.
Yes.
자, 그러면은 뭐 수사할 거 뭐 있나? 남아 있는 게? 결국에 쿠노에게 물어봐야 될 게 좀 있네. 물어보죠. 여기 가서. 쟤한테 대답해야 되는데 이거
The tracks are as they have ever been. A bit more worn, perhaps. Fortunately, the street sweeper still hasn't noticed their presence.
이거 말 어떻게 하지?
You are correct. This is
맞네.
a rather motor carriage friendly city. I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With a jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate.
You could follow the tracks south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went. If you find the time.
오케이. 일단 쿠노에게 물어보러 갑시다. 오케이, 자동 저장. 쟤한테 물어보자.
Necromancer pig? That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Oh, brutal shit. Tell me. Kuno dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in a hail of bullets. Gonna look like a fucking porcupine. Shitload pig. What's your question?
Don't tell the pig shit, Kuno.
This is where you quickly ask him questions. Real cop questions. Like a cop.
Kuno doesn't give a shit about the armor.
뭐야,
That fucking had one thing majorly wrong with him. He's a fucking mutant. Do you remember how he looked? Fucking growth hormone shit. He's a giant. The armor's too big for any man. Kuno doesn't give a shit about that freak armor. Kuno threw that shit away.
무슨 말이야?
Kuno tried to get the helmet on. It was too big. Kuno kicked that shit in the sea, rugby style. That shit means nothing to Kuno. Yeah, that shit means nothing to Kuno. Kuno doesn't give a shit about material shit. Kuno's a fucking monk.
Monk.
You wanna fuck on someone about that armor? Go fuck the mustached union fuck. The jolly troubadour shit at the gate.
항만 관문에 있는 흥겨운 음유시인 누구지?
Yeah, cock and boot. You know that jolly union cow fucker? Came around talking about cows or some shit? Came around pretending like he cares about cows?
항만 관문이면 그 시위하고 있던 거기를 말하는 거겠죠?
So yeah, he's the one you want to talk to. He's fucking crazy about that armor shit. Coming here pretending like he likes cows. Trying to catch a peep at Kuro's armor. Go to the gate. Ask him yourself.
오케이.
Curious, my liege. Why did Kuno feed you this information?
이거 물어볼까?
Yeah, Kuno's doing charity today.
Yo,
Kuno
charity.
Kuno feels sorry for you two loser pigs. Kuno's doing pity now.
동정하는 거라고? 오케이.
Still, seems suspicious. He may have it in for that guy. Or you may be paranoid. That is also a possibility, sire.
2번.
Probably climbed. Kuno was busy down the road when that shit went down. You heard Kuno. Kuno wasn't even in Martinez. Kuno wasn't in Revachol. Kuno wasn't regional.
알았어.
I don't know. Some fucking Mesk or I don't know. Some other place. Night City. Kuno was in fucking Night City.
There is no Night City anywhere. That sounds like the name of a city in some pulp science fiction novel.
밤의 도시는 어디지?
Kuno gives this info out on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. Kuno didn't smoke the gimp, if that's what you meant.
Thanks, Kuno. That's one name you can now cross off the list.
You're testing Kuno's patience here.
Get lost.
이거랑 잠깐만. 이거 해야 되고 그 다음에 쓰레기통에 있는 피해자 요새 관해 뭔가 아는 게 있지. 이것도 물어봐야 되니까.
Right, pig. This is where Kuno plays with his little wooden choo-choo. What do you want with it?
이거 뭐하지?
Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care about this small time shit. Just listen. Kuno saw what you did there, dumpster diving. Sad shit.
겁나 불쌍한 짓이었지.
Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price. 500 real.
오, 빚 갚고 남네.
You'd have to be blind not to notice the giant white letters FALN running down his trouser leg.
Look, Kuno ain't seen shit lying around. Except for that you took away. Now you want performance gear or not, Grandpa?
The lieutenant remains silent, but his expression couldn't say, "I told you so," any louder.
오케이.
Whatever. Kuno was trying to help you, but you're too fat for fouling anyway, pig.
술 찾아 마시기. 소용돌이의 이거고. 이거 했고. 네, 이거 어떻게 하는지 모르겠네.
The fuck? A mug in the trash? Is this about the fucking clothes again? Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain. You saying you pigs are after the mug fucker? Cause he's the clothes fucker?
I can't hear you, Kuno. Speak louder, Kuno.
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy gonna get tied to the radiator. Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did, he wouldn't squeal. But if you find out, maybe you can...
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious. He likes putting two and two together here.
오케이.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno. They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching. Get away from my Kuno.
Oof.
Yeah, get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the popo. Get your shit done and out of Kuno's face.
오케이.
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
오케이. 좋아. 임무 업그레이드 했고 총에 관련된 모든 정보 수집하기. 노조의 고위직이요? 그러면 저기로 가면 될 수도? 오케이. 1시간 47분. 오케이. 그러면은 오늘은 조금 짧은 에피소드로 여기까지 하고 다음 시간에 본격적으로 어딨냐 일지 총 같은 거 수집하고 해보도록 합시다. 아직 하루 이제 곧 저녁 먹을 시간이네. 5시 14분이니까. 그러니까 그때 또 신발도 찾고 제 이름도 찾고 해야죠. 여기에 있는 사람들 말하는 거 맞겠지? 오우 쉣, 이 사람 뭐야? 나중에 다음 시간에는 여기서 사람들이랑 인터뷰를 해보겠습니다. 그래서 저장하고 메인 메뉴. 그러면 이렇게 두 번째 시리즈 봐주셔서 감사하고요. 저는 다음 영상에서 다시 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다. 다음에 봅시다.